Hello, families. Welcome back to the American Family Survival Network. I'm your host, Jeffrey Snipes. This comes from the Business Insider. You asked for it. Congress railed on the maker of EpiPen. Mylan CEO Heather Bresch is sworn in before testifying in front of the House Oversight Committee hearing on EpiPen price increases. Heather Bresch, the CEO of Mylan, which makes the EpiPen, is testifying in front of the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee about the drug's price after an hour-long delay. The price of the device used in emergencies to treat severe allergic reactions has increased more than 500% since Mylan acquired it in 2007. A two-pack of the EpiPen now has a list price of $608. In her prepared testimony released ahead of the hearing, Bresch gave background on Mylan as a company and addressed some of the controversy around the rising price. Looking back, I wish we had better anticipated the magnitude and acceleration of the rising financial issues for a growing minority of patients who may have ended up paying the full list price or more. Bresch said in her testimony, "We never intended this." The members of Congress had a lot of questions for Bresch, who will be testifying alongside Doug Throckmorton, a deputy director of the Food and Drug Administration. In her defense, she said the company is implementing a number of programs to help patients pay for EpiPens, but Congress didn't buy it. Here are a few highlights before we get into the play-by-play. Bresch refused to admit at any point that her company raised the price of the EpiPen to make more money. She also didn't come prepared with information Congress had requested about revenue and the company's patient assistance programs. Bresch couldn't answer those questions off the top of her head either. Mylan's EpiPen for Schools program took a serious beating. Representative Tammy Duckworth called it a monopoly and seemed appalled that schools that entered the program had to sign a non-compete agreement. She was also mad that those schools didn't know that the president of the National Association of State Boards of Education, who was lobbying them to join it, was actually Bresch's mother. Bresch kept saying that her company saved the U.S. $180 billion in medical expenses, but could never explain how. Throckmorton got slammed because Congress felt the FDA approval process was too erroneous, and he couldn't disclose much about any applications for competitors to the EpiPen because of the FDA's rules. Bresch said she didn't plan on raising the price of an EpiPen in 2017, but wouldn't give it a firm no. Later in the evening, Bresch faced questions about Mylan's tax inversions, private jets, and drew ire from Representative Earl Buddy Carter over the company's authorized generic version of the EpiPen. A simple but corrupt business model. Representative Jason Chaffetz, chairman of the committee, kicked off the hearing saying, "We've got a lot of questions." Right off the bat, he brought up his interest in learning more about how much money Mylan makes off of each EpiPen and how much Mylan executives are compensated. He had questions about the lack of existing competition that might have helped to lower the cost of the device. Parents don't have a choice, Chaffetz said. Cummings followed Chaffetz, saying he was not impressed by Bresch's prepared testimony and bringing out an EpiPen. He accused the company of using a simple but corrupt business model to enrich themselves in the same manner as Martin Shkreli of Turing Pharmaceuticals and executives at Valeant Pharmaceuticals. He scoffed at Mylan's promise to increase patient assistant programs. "We've heard that one before," he said. They never even lower their prices. "I'm concerned this is a rope-a-dope strategy." Cummings said he's not sure he wants an apology from Mylan as much as he wants solutions. "It's time for Congress to act," Cummings said. He referenced Shkreli's testimony earlier this year. After the hearing, you know what he called us? Imbeciles. You know why he said that? Because he knew he would go back and do the same thing, he said. So he took his punches. He rope-a-doped us. Even worse, he took the fifth. This is our moment. If we're going to do something in a bipartisan way, this is it. Ms. Bresch, you are now recognized. Bresch and Throckmorton gave their prepared statements, which you can read here. I'll include a link to the article in the video. And Chaffetz asked a simple question to start. You raised the price. What did you think was going to happen? Bresch did a lot of gymnastics to explain how Mylan actually doesn't make that much money on the drug, but Chaffetz wasn't having it. "This doesn't make any sense," he said. "This is why we don't believe you." He turned to Throckmorton. "I want to know how many epinephrine products are in the queue right now." Throckmorton couldn't answer. Chevette grew visibly frustrated and asked him to answer the question ASAP. It's simply an illegal answer. I'm not allowed to disclose confidential commercial information in the setting, Throckmorton said. Chevette said he would confer with his colleagues on that one. Representative John Mica followed up later, and Throckmorton still couldn't give an answer. Then Chevette turned to Bresch and asked about a USA Today article that reported that Bresch's mother used her influence as president of the National Association of State Boards of Education to help Mylan launch its EpiPen for Schools program. Bresch said the story was wrong and implied the company was being punished for giving schools free EpiPens. How much profit did you make in 2015 on the sale of EpiPens? That was Cummings' question. He trying to calculate how much Mylan spends on marketing compared with how much it makes, and he was walking through the public information available. Will you reverse the increase in price of EpiPens? Representative Eleanor Norton was the one to ask the question everyone wants the answer to. Will the price of the EpiPen actually come down? And Bresch said that introducing an authorized generic was the most efficient way to make that happen, saying that if the branded product price went down, it wouldn't necessarily make its way to patients. Norton then followed up on Bresch's compensation. What have you done to earn this 671% compensation increase? Bresch first replied that she earned it because her company has saved the U.S. billions. Our products alone have saved the country $180 billion, she said a few times. But that wasn't good enough for Norton. She followed up, asking what she